So it's time for another tour. So there's been a lot going on. As you can see, a lot of growth here on the patio garden, as well as in our big garden down there and some other areas on our homestead. We're going to give a whole tour today and let you know about what's going on, what we've been doing, and our future vision. So follow me along on this Wildwood Wonder Homestead tour.
We're going to start our tour up here. The sun is gone behind the clouds, which is awesome because that way it saves me some hot times. All right, so this is our native pink. I explained this on the last tour and it has done awesome. So it is a native plant that I found on our homestead, and I took some roots and dug it up, and I've had 2 pots that have been very successful with that. The hummingbirds love it. Absolutely love it. They are coming in 2 at a time. They're not even fighting over it. So I don't know if it's just so unusual or so awesome. It must taste really yummy if they can come in 2 at a time and not fight over it. That's for sure. So as you can see, one of my clematis did not make it. It didn't make the transition or the move. So that's okay. I have another one here and it's already started regrowth. So you can see the nice, new plants. We have cowpeas, so climbing cowpeas right here. All right, they're gonna go up the trellis, and actually I'm hoping that they might actually go up onto the pergola, so we'll see. All right, down here, our mosquito plant. My mosquito plant is doing so well that it is already outgrown its pot. I bought a smaller one because frankly it was just cheaper, and I thought, well, okay, I'll just grow it to a bigger one, and it's already outgrown its pot, so I'm gonna have to repot those definitely. Goldfish are doing good. My crazy pineapple's still going, guys. So we're going to see how that turns out. The top, let's see. I have a pair of wrens, and they'll probably pop up during this video sometime. And I noticed that this has been going on for over a week, is they would hop into that potted plant right there, and they would hop into it. Well, I thought they were building a nest, so I went to check it out. Nothing's there. And I have been watching, and they have steady been taking bugs in there. Not building a nest, they were taking bugs. So I thought, well, okay, well, maybe they found a safe place to eat. But then I noticed today, as I came out to do my morning stuff, that they are actually bringing nesting materials in there, and they are building now. So it's almost like they were planning it out, which of course, birds are awesome like that, and they do that. And they've been bringing bugs, and I guess they're storing them in there, probably so when she sits. But they're building a nest now. Why am I keeping wrens on my porch? I know most of y'all are thinking, that's crazy. Why would you do that? I need those birds. Those 2 birds, wrens are awesome for caterpillars and bugs. They need to feed their babies with them. And look at all the stuff I have for them to go through. They're not after my vegetables. They're not after, my good stuff, or what I would consider good stuff, right? They are after food, so they want to come in and get those bad bugs. So they're beneficial for me, so I'm letting them stay there, okay? My hanging pots are doing great. So that was that macrame that one of my students did for me. And then, of course, my little slothy. And this is new. I have finally put the loofah gourds up there. So they were ready to be potted, and I'm going to train them up these chains and to go across the pergola. So I think that's just I hope it works. I think that's going to be the coolest thing, to have these awesome huge leaves shading my pergola, and then have this awesome, these cool loofah gourds just hanging down off of this. I just think that would be so cool, and it's going to throw shade onto the house. And these are really going to get started, in June and July and August and September, when I need the shade on the house because it's hot. So new additions here is my copper pot that I found at a estate sale. I still have to drill a hole in the bottom of it because it will become a planter. But I just thought that was really cool, and it being copper, it can last outside. Here I have bee balm. And it's going. It needed to be half shaded, half light. I did get that from Bonnie because I wasn't successful growing it. So that's one that I am planting. And I think that is, never mind. No, it's not. I don't even know what that is. It looks like an eggshell, and it might be. Fern's going great. that is a potted plant that I brought out from inside. I'm transitioning it to the outside. That is actually lasted for years. That came from Carl's grandmother's funeral, and I still have that. And that has been maybe over 5 years ago. I think more than that, 6 years ago. And it needs to be repotted and some TLC on it. Okay, so the mushroom garden's going great. Another fern. So I discussed the kids' play area in one of the videos about them picking radishes and how important that is for them to be out here. Oh my goodness, guys, it's kind of started sprinkling on me, so I'm going to try to get through this without getting terribly rained on. All right, so I have my bush beans here going. They have not quite flowered yet, not this set. That set has. So these have flowers on them. You can see them going right there. They're doing great. And here is my mixture of zucchini and squash. I think in my very first video, I said it was nothing but zucchini because at the time, the leaves were so small, I couldn't tell what was what, and I really thought they were all zucchini. But apparently, I mixed my trays kind of up, and so I have a mixture going on up here now, which is fine. It's fine. You can see we have some that are coming up. And so got the squash coming, lots of squash. There's even one way back there. Can you see that? Okay. And I've seen the zucchini coming. There's little bitty ones showing up. They're just really tiny. I'll probably have to go on the other side to show that. As you can see, I have a bunch of them coming through there. I'm trying to find one of my zucchini plants. See if I can show you. Oh, there they are. Right down there. So they're coming. As you can see, I am trimming. I'm trimming the extras. They're taking away energy. Okay, they're taking away the water source away from the rest of the plant, away from the vegetable that I want to grow. And so what I'm doing is I trim any leaf off that is not supportive. Okay, so for example, like that leaf is supporting the plant and kind of keeping it up. So it's okay, guys. You can trim them and it's not going to kill your plant, and it lets that air flow through there. I want airflow. I want sunshine getting through there. I want my pollinators to get through there. So it's okay. You can trim your plant. You're not going to kill it. And after a while, when I first did it, I was kind of unsure, and I wasn't sure exactly which leaves do I cut, and then it would flop down. Well, I learned over time to just observe my plant. Like, this is a supportive stem, and this one is. This is what's keeping the plant up. So I'm keeping that right now. I haven't had any pest pressure yet, so I'm going to keep those. Now, if I have a lot of bugs show up, I'll probably, cut them off and maybe add a support. But right now, it's okay. You can see how many I've actually cut off. They're unnecessary. The plant doesn't need them. I want all that energy going up here, okay? And getting that fresh air. So, lots of peas going on. And my poor plant right here, I think the cold temperature got my flowers, guys. And I was so excited. They were coming up, and now they're gone. So once again this year, I don't think I'm going to be able to tell 100% which one this is, because I'm not going to have flowers. So hopefully they'll come back, but I'm not sure. So I've never had that before. And then this plant, it actually started to flower a little bit. And see, and I think it got it too. We had just this cold little snap that came through, and it kind of got some of my fresh stuff. So that came from my grandmother's house. It's a great ground cover. All right, so this bed has been doing awesome. You can see the crest has just kind of exploded. Look, it's just rising up. Oh, I have some bolting right here. So I'm saving seed off of this one and my spinach here. So I'm fixing to have to bag those up. So I've been studying how to put the little mesh bags over them to catch the seeds. So that's my goal on that. And we have our lettuce, the spinach, and what I do is I just kind of do like my lettuce, and I just cut what I need off of it, and then it grows back. The crest is kind of spicy, and it reminds me of a radish. So it's great in soup. My husband actually loves it in soup, and he doesn't like a whole lot of it in his salad. I love it in my salad. I kind of like that little spice in the salad there. And there's my lamb's quarter back there going. And y'all, look at my King of the Llama garden bean. Ah, it's doing what I was hoping it would. It's almost there. I am so excited about that. And this right here, both of those have actually gone up to the top. So they're reaching up there. Look at that. Isn't that, I'm so excited about that. Because they're going to do like the loofahs. So they're coming from this side. And the loofahs are coming from that side. And hopefully it will shade this whole paragola. And my goal on these King of the Lima beans here is to gather seeds. So they're up there. They're probably, I'm going to pick enough of it to keep them producing. And then I'm going to let them just dry on the vine and collect my seeds from there. So lots of froggies going on in the rain barrel. So they've kind of made it not so clear anymore. And we got tadpoles going on in there. Lots of frog action. All right, and here we have our cucumbers. So it's going to go up these trellises here and do that. And then the carrots are going. And I was a little worried about those. I don't know if y'all remember the germination. I was scared they wouldn't make it. Look at them now. See, just be patient. Be patient. I have some of those peppers. I did a whole video on plant versus seed. So go back and watch that. I'm going to add it up here on this card. So you can click that. Go back and click it and go straight to it. And these are some peppers I bought. And these are the snacky peppers. Remember, this whole area is a fresh eating area. This is so my kids can come in here and they can pick and not be scared. There are no pesticides used on these. Okay. There is nothing that is harmful for them to not come eat besides maybe washing the dirt off of it if it's a radish that's in the bed. And so these are what they call lunchbox peppers, and they're just sweet little peppers that they're going to be able to pick off the plant and eat. And so I'm excited about that. Got those in. Here I got my next round of tomatoes. They're going to go down there in the big garden. Y'all saw me plant the first round, so we got the second round, another set of tomatoes there. Here the lettuce is going crazy. I told him, I said, look, we're gonna have to slack off the soup and go back to eating salad because I don't want it to waste, and I'm fixing to start actually giving it to people. And when you have abundance, guys, when you have abundance like that, you need to give it to people. If you have family, why are they going to the store buying lettuce when you have it? Oh, they feel like a salad. I got your salad. You come and gather it. You can come gather it fresh, or I can snip it and take it to you, and why not? It's going to be better for them. It's better for your garden. So definitely, if you have abundance, you need to share it. Right here, the radishes are gone. If you saw that video of us picking the kids picking the radish, and these are all more bush beans. Okay, so it's a lagoon, so anything that is a pea or bean is going to be a good second planter. So the radishes were through here. Well, they kind of took energy from the soil. Guess what? These guys are putting energy back in the soil. So if I go back through with a bush bean, and they're the same ones that are over here, okay, when that round gets done and I've picked all those, these will be ready. So you have a rotation going on. There's a rotation here. That's why the peppers are here. Now, my peppers were supposed to be a lot bigger than these carrots. But if you watched that video, you found out that my peppers did not germinate. So I'm behind on my peppers. And they were supposed to be this high already, shading these carrots out. So I'm a little, behind on this one. But the peppers will grow. And you're sharing that. And then when the carrots come out, guess what's going to be planted in there? Yep, more beans, more beans. All right, so here I have more tomatoes. I have a ton of, I think that's spaghetti squash and butternut squash. And then those are my 4 peppers that made it. Yay. More peppers, more carrots going on here. And then up there, those are all my artichokes. And then I have 2 more coming that didn't make it. Those will go down to another section I'll show you. Here we have another loofah. So I'm not quite sure where I want to put that. I just planted more than I needed just in case. And then here is my mint that has decided to finally come up. But the problem is in the soil, we have had a major pumpkin problem. We threw a pumpkin in the compost and it has come back to haunt me all season long. And Carl's super excited because he is like, hey, that's more pumpkins to feed the chickens with. So he is absolutely fine with all these pumpkins showing up. But I'm like, where am I supposed to put all these pumpkins? So that's what's going on there. Another cherry tomato. This one is not growing as fast as the other one, and I'll show you that one. And so here we have dinosaur kale is what they call it. And so it's going to get really, really super tall, and the stalk is going to get really thick. So all this has got to be transplanted out now. And it needs to go down in the garden or into some actually ground beds. More lettuce. Another cherry tomato. And then this cherry tomato is rocking it. So you can see that. It is just, it's going great. And it's probably because it does get the most amount of sun right there. And then I just have my happy plants. Another pumpkin. Okay. So another pumpkin. And what do I have going on here? Well, here I've started my herbs. So once again, my herbs didn't take from seeds, some of them. So I went and I bought some. It's okay, guys. It's not going to hurt you. My basil did come up, and I've sprinkled more basil in there. That's purple basil, that's dill, and then chives. And these are just some trees that we ordered and we picked up because we got them for a really good deal, and because we weren't sure if they were going to make it or not. They are up here, and we're just kind of giving them some TLC before we move them out. This purple plant, I cannot remember the name of it. It's super, super popular in hanging baskets, and I know just for foliage, but it was actually where the loofah gourds are, and I always forget about it. I forget about it every year until it comes back. And I want to say they're supposed to be an annual, but it comes back every year for me. This one is another one I got from my grandmother. It will flower into this nice, pretty red flower. Here are the water tanks. If you watched that video about our watering system and our rainwater, please go and see that, because I explain why it's here, what we're doing with it, and what the plan is in the future. And it's not always going to look like this. And we're going to make it where frogs don't come in and lay all their eggs, and we have to deal with that. And these are just buckets that we're using, and this is all rainwater, every single bit of it, and our compost bucket. And you can see where I've been trimming the leaves of the tomato and the zucchini. This is my work area mostly right now. A few ornamentals like cactuses, just because I have fun growing those, irises, lilies. I'm going to talk about this bed. I'm going to do a whole video on that and redo that and let y'all watch that. Here is the first garden bed that started it all. And you can see the carrots here have just gone crazy. And the lettuce, they've actually overcome the lettuce. And so I've had to be really, really careful going in there and trimming the lettuce. But guess what? The lettuce is appreciating that. They like kind of that shade there. You need to come in and gather this. This is what I mean by I have a ton of salad. We got to go back to eating salads. And then I had to extend the sweet pea trellis because they're everywhere. That's what's going on there. Same thing here. The sweet peas have gone all the way up. My work table, I have a lot of stuff coming up and a lot of stuff that needs to go out. More squash, more squash, more squash. They're just all different varieties. And the problem is they're just not quite big enough for the big garden down there. So I'm just having to wait till they get to the right size that I want. And then I'm going to move them up. And that is a random tomato that I have no clue what it is, because it actually showed up in a squash plant planting. So it's going to be probably grown up here because I don't know what it is. But lots of stuff coming up. Do have some good germination going on finally. Let's see, I did have tomatoes. Those are all some more peppers. So I'm trying my peppers again. And these are tomatoes. And so this will be my third round of tomatoes. And these are more specialty tomatoes and just for snacking and just for fun growing. So I always make sure that I get my canning tomatoes out first, because that's the biggest deal, because we eat so much salsa and tomato sauce. for cooking, and then all my fun stuff comes after that. And this, okay, I have cinnamon. I'm doing a video on that, how you use cinnamon in the garden. I had an ant problem. I don't want to use chemicals in my bed and in my food. So how am I using that to control a nest of ants that came in here because of all the rain? So I talked about that. And then once again, the peas. The peas are doing amazing. They're rocking it. They are rocking it. So, and then this is a bright pink, almost like fuchsia colored Mexican petunia. And I also got that from my grandmother's house. So we're gonna, and it's been transplanted and it already has a new shoot, so I'm excited about that. So we're gonna go down and look at the bottom garden. Ellie, are you resting? Is you tired? You had a hard morning? She's not even worried. She's like, I don't care. One section I haven't really showed y'all is this side corner, my corner garden. It is my herb garden, and I am doing a little video on that showing how I've set that up. I've actually had to kind of go in. I have to clear it out every year, but it is, once again, stair-stepped. You're going to see that a lot. I use that a lot in my gardening, is different layers and kind of a stair step in how I work. And that has to do with the size of things, sunlight. It works very well, so we'll talk about that. And so be looking for that video. And this is all just easy. Notice there's the front door. Notice that my herbs up there are really close. Okay, so when canning starts, when cooking starts, that's where I go to get my fresh stuff. Okay, so here you see our comfrey bed, and this is a whole group of comfrey that were taken from root clippings. Like the pieces were only about that big, and we actually used one of our roller beds to put them in, and it only took a couple weeks and they came right up. So this is going to be kind of a comfrey patch. We also have several comfrey patches back in the back, and we're still developing that bed, waiting on some wood chips. And then here we have all of our grapes. That was the spring break 2020 project. So when all the corona actually started, this was our main project because that's all we thought we had time for at the time. And since I've been home full time and the hubby hasn't been able to work his part-time job, which has allowed us to stay home and get a lot of the projects we've been saving up for and been wanting to do done. And that included a blackberry trellis there. And so here we have a climbing blackberry, and we have 2 bird houses that my dad built for me up at the top. And then we have our mulberry tree that we actually found underneath a cedar tree. We had no clue it was there until we removed the cedar and found this mulberry tree. And we're so glad we found it. We love mulberries. We have that one, and then we have 3 more here in between these logs. They're going to separate our bed. We actually put those in ourselves because we love mulberries. And the plan is, we haven't quite figured out where our pawpaws are going to go. They may go back there, but we're not sure. So our composting area is being moved. We are going to move that into our new chicken area. So we're going to have a combination of orchard and chicken pen area, because we're going to start a permaculture style composting system where we incorporate our chickens into the orchard to nurture the orchard and to take care of pest problems, as well as handle our compost that we're going to use for the rest of the garden. And these logs are here because we're going to put artichokes in here. So we have to come through here and get a small tiller and till up the middle, because we weren't really sure how far these were going to go across. And it's going to be an artichoke bed all through here. And like I said, we're still cleaning up. We're transitioning into moving things from one area to another right now. And that's why a lot of things kind of seem out of place, but not quite. And here's our big mulberry that we had for years and had no clue what we had. And then once we finally figured it out, we were like, really? It sat here this long and we had no clue that we had it and how delicious they were. And we fell in love with the mulberry, and that's why we have more mulberries. Because at the top, is for the birds, and they are constantly flying in the top of the mulberry, getting all the top ones that become ripe, and then they knock them down on the ground, and those are the ones that we get and lower. Now our other mulberries, these, we don't plan on letting them get as big because we want to be able to reach them, but we love letting the birds have something to eat, and so we're transitioning everything here to different places. We're working on, I'm pretty excited about it, we're working on a quail atrium, and that's not part of it, but that was where the idea came from, so stay tuned for that. And then more trees, apples, pears, more comfrey. There's a comfrey patch back here, there's comfrey here, there's comfrey amongst the garden, and so that's our big in-ground garden. We have more trees, we have plums, and we have persimmons there. And so the big garden right now, it's just tomatoes, squash, and peppers. Have not changed since the planting advice video that we put in. And then our Cornish cross, and I'm gonna walk the line. This is the first line. Every day they get moved, and they have started on the second line that will go back through here. And you can tell how great this grass is. We've been running chickens through this grass for 4 years now. Best grass on our property. Okay, here's the other side of the video. And so Cornish cross get moved through our yard twice a year. And so we do a spring group and a fall group, and that's because of temperatures and the best time to process them. And so they go through this twice a year, and that's why that grass is so great. And then we have bluebirds moved into my martin box, but they're excellent because they love worms and bugs. And so they go through the garden finding worms and bugs and all through the grass and stuff. This is another transition area where we're cleaning that up, planning to have a greenhouse. Eventually, this is way down the road. There's actually a concrete slab there from an old shed, and so a greenhouse is going to go there. And I'm currently working on a native bed, so all of that's going to be native plants, wildflowers. Right now I have my elderberry, and that's why I decided to make that the native bed. And we're going to have bird houses, and I'm debating on a bird bath, possibly. We have a creek that runs back there, and that's where the birds get their water from, but it would be cool to have another source. And blueberries are loaded. So come up here, and we're just waiting. We're just waiting on blueberries. So there you go. Loaded there. They're just not ready here. All the blueberries down there. So we just have to beat the birds out here right now. Once they start turning, and it's crazy. I mean, birds know. They know once it starts turning, they're like, blueberries are ready. Like, yeah, we know. And they're not terrible. But we have, I don't know if God's told the birds what we have going on or what's fixing to start, or he's heard our heart or what, but I have had more birds this year. I'm actually fixing to start tracking them and start documenting all the birds I've seen. I've had new birds move in this year. I've had more birds than I've ever seen, and so many different species of birds, and I'm so excited. And I almost get choked up. I almost cry thinking about it because they bring me joy, and they're here to help us, and I'm so excited that they're a part of our homestead now. And I hope that's a positive sign that we're going in the right direction with how we're fixing to start doing things. And so we're here to help them, and they're here to help us. And I think that's how God made everything. I think he made it to be that way. We're supposed to listen, and we're supposed to be a part of this world that he made us, in. And if we listen and we pay attention and we do the way he had it planned to begin with, great things are going to happen. And I hope that's going to show true in here. And I have faith that it will. I keep saying I hope, like I don't have faith that it will. I do. I just can't wait for it to happen, These are our figs. So great growth on them this year. These two are the oldest. And then we had some younger ones, and even our newest ones at the end are doing great. And so all these are blueberries, all these are figs, and then start our peach trees. And then we have some wild blackberry back here. And so the peach trees are actually where we're contemplating starting the chicken run. And so the chicken run will be around the orchard. And this will benefit the orchard through them scratching, through them catching bugs, through their droppings, through the nitrogen. And as long as we support the trees correctly and we surround them where they don't harm the trees, it's a great system. The compost will be moved up here, and they will become our workhorses for the compost. So the compost is going to feed our chickens, and the chickens are going to in turn feed us through mixing the compost, scratching around in it, they eat the bugs that they need out of it. And as long as we work with them and they work with us, it should all come together. So we have no egg layers right now. And then we're going to revamp the chicken coop. I'm going to give it a cool mural. I already have one planned in my head. And we're going to work on a water catchment system here and a better feeding system. And so that's part of the plan, is all that will work together. And this is that hill. I think you can see a better idea of the hill here. And we're thinking about, once our water systems come in, our deck. So if you're watching the rainwater system, the deck will come out and over to this door that comes in the middle of nowhere. Because years ago we had to redo that because of a leak, and we had to completely redo it. It used to be a half bath, and we added on to our laundry room, and I knew I wanted a door. I said, while y'all are in here, let's go ahead and do a door, because we're going to want it later. And we are adding this way and probably going down. But we also need a water system up here. So I think that's going to come first, and then we're going to terrace down and create more beds for onions and garlic and strawberries and things that need to sit there for a while. So that's the plan. And I hope you enjoyed this tour. I hope it wasn't too crazy long, but it's a lot to go over and talk about. And I hope you keep joining us. And please, if you can subscribe, if you can just give us a thumbs up, positive encouragement. I can't wait to see this place grow. I think it's going to do great things. I think in the future we'll be able to offer things to people, maybe teach them something, show them examples, and just say, here is the possibility and here's how you do it. And if you would like to continue to, support us, just please watch it, hit that like, share it on social if you can. If you would like to help us financially, you can go to the Wildwood Wonder website. The link will be below in the comments, and you can go there and you can purchase any items that are inspired by our homestead and by these gardens and by all the stuff that we're doing. So you can help us there. Well, thank you for joining me on this tour, and I hope you have a great rest of the week.